Hi, welcome to my podcast. My name is Emi. I recently graduated from college and I'm kind of in that weird point where I don't have a job yet, but I don't have college to do, so I don't totally know what to do with my life. And if there's one thing I know about myself, it's that I can talk for a very long time about anything. So I decided to start a podcast. This is like my third time recording this because my audio just stopped like 10 minutes in last time. And the other two times I just thought I sounded stupid and I was trying to hold the microphone, and I just feel like it's easier if I just talk without trying to hold the microphone. But we'll see. Hopefully the audio doesn't suck. But yeah, little basics about me if you don't know who I am. If you do know who I am, hi, love you, besties. My name's Emi. I'm 22 years old. I graduated from Kenyon College in December. Very fun. Go Lords, go ladies. Although the moniker will be changing at some point, probably in the next 10 years. I'm kidding. It'll probably change in the next 2 years. But every time they announce something, it's like moniker, timeline delayed. None of this means anything to you if you don't go to Kenyon. Anyways. Yeah, I'm kind of in a weird point in my life where I don't know what I'm going to do next. And so I wanted to create something, and I wanted to do something, and this is what I'm doing. If nobody watches, that's fine. At least I'll have some kind of outlet to talk about how I'm feeling about anything. But this is like a little intro video in case you don't know me. Or maybe you know me and you don't know everything about me. I mean, not that this is going to be everything about me, because that would make the rest of this podcast awfully boring. But I am originally from Venezuela. I moved here when I was 3. Bopped around Maryland for a little bit, but I did live in Brazil for 2 years, which was a weird time in my life, and I'm very self-conscious about my posture now for some reason. But yeah, so I've had a fun life, I think, a weird, interesting life, which hopefully will make me talking about it and my perspective on things interesting and fun. I kind of have blanked on what exactly I wanted to say because I didn't write anything down, and I thought that my life story would just fuel me. But I also want it to be more broad and not specific about certain things. So then other episodes can be more about me talking about mental health and me talking about my perspective on certain things. So I Googled 100 basic getting to know me questions, and I will be reading those and answering the ones that I feel are relevant. And if that's boring to you, I'm very sorry. This is just me trying to have a good time. I am also recording this at 10:30 after watching The Bachelor on a Monday night. So I'm doing my best, and this is my life, and I'm just trying. Question number 1 is, who is your hero? I hate this question. I'm skipping it. If you could live anywhere, where would it be? California. I'm trying to get a job in California. I just graduated from college in Ohio, and as much as I love the cold, big fan of snow, I would like to live somewhere for a few years where I do not have to worry about snow, at least most of the time. There's an anomaly. Climate change is real. So if it snows, whatever. But I don't want it to snow as frequently as it did. So I'm looking for somewhere where it's sunny outside. If you are watching this and you are looking to hire somebody, I know how to do graphic design stuff. And I'm an okay writer. I mean, I guess I'm a good writer, but it's everybody at Kenyon writes. So it's am I that? Whatever. Anyways, nobody cares. I feel like I'm just talking and nobody's gonna care. Is that what a podcast is? Is just you talking and nobody listening? Yeah. Podcasts are weird because I feel they're very popular right now, and I also feel only some people are good at them. I don't know if I'm gonna be one of them, but anyways, what is your biggest fear? I don't like this question either. I'm literally doing a horrible job at this podcasting thing. Maybe I'll skip the questions. Maybe I'll just talk about myself. I don't really feel I have a biggest fear. I think it changes all the time. Again, I'm a Gemini. I don't know if I said that in this recording, because again, this is like the third take I've had. So I mentioned I was a Gemini in one of the takes I did. Was it this one? Who knows? But yeah, I'm really bad at picking biggest fears or biggest like dream or biggest or like favorite or anything like that. Like, it changes constantly for me. I'm really indecisive, even about things that like scare me. And I think a lot of it comes with, like, I'm scared of things that I'm not familiar with. And I think once I overcome something or I deal with something that I'm scared of, then I'm no longer scared of it. So there have been things where even if I go through it or like I deal with it, it still freaks me out. But like, for the most part, after I've done something once and I feel like I've been through the other side, I can like do it again because I'm like, okay, I've done it once. I feel like I'm pretty good at being like, okay, I've been through worse. And so not that many things scare me, I think, which is like big things that scare me. I am easily frightened. So if you jump and scare me, like, that will scare me. But like, I don't know if that made any sense. I'm like, I'm not scared of anything. And then I'm like, why? I am scared of things. But I don't have a biggest fear, I guess, is the way to answer that question. So, yeah, I am easily frightened, though. Please don't, like, jump and... I literally yell all the time at the dumbest things, and I'm like, I don't even think I was necessarily, like, actually afraid. It was just, like, an instinct of being startled, if that makes absolutely any sense to anybody. Yeah. This has no track, no logical narrative structure, which is driving me a little bit crazy. I'm sorry if it's driving you crazy too, but I wanted this podcast to be just like a basic introduction to who I am, and then other ones will have like themes and like ideas, and hopefully that's okay. I feel like a podcast, like the first one, is never the most important one, or maybe it is. I don't know anything about making a podcast, if you haven't been able to tell. I also feel like podcasts don't necessarily work super well if it's just one person. But I'm doing my best. And again, I just kind of wanted a place where I could talk about things. What is your favorite family vacation? That's a good question. I have a horrible memory, so I'm not sure if I have a favorite, like, actual vacation I've been on, but I do have places I would like to go back to. I went to Italy once when I was like 12, and I don't remember it super well, and I might actually be going some point in 2022, which is nice, and that would be lovely. I also really, really remember loving Paris when I went when I was like 15, but it was before I had my nice camera, so all my pictures are on like my crappy Samsung phone, and I would love to take photos with like my nice Canon camera, because like one of my favorite vacations, I do remember actually now, I went to Nepal, and the photos I got from that were like some of my best work, because it was just so beautiful and also such a change of pace from like the thing. I'm really bad at like taking photos of the mundane. I'm good at like, if I'm see a monkey, I can take a picture of a monkey really well, or like a bird, like an owl or something, but I can't just take photos like in my house. So I would really love to just go somewhere and take photos, whether that's Europe or Nepal or something. I really love taking photos of things. What would you change about yourself if you could? Too many to list, and I also am not, I've gotten to a point where I'm like trying not to think that way about myself. Yeah, I don't really, I have a lot of things that I would change about myself, but I think my perspective now is I'd rather just work to be the best version of myself instead of pinpointing like things that I like don't like about myself. Because I'm working every day to be a better version of myself. So a lot of things I would change about myself, but I am working to change them, and I think that's what matters most. What really makes you angry? A lot of things. I feel like I try not to be that angry of a person. I feel like more things frustrate me. Things that make me really angry. something that has me really angry right now is just my audio and video keeps cutting out. And so I'm sorry if there are like jump cuts or cuts in the audio. I'm trying my best. This is my first time. Oh, what really makes you angry? This right now. That's all I'm going to say. I had other things I wanted to talk about, but I think I'll save them for another day because they matter too much to me for me to like talk about them in this introductory video, things that are making me angry right now. What motivates you to work hard? Everything that I've been through, I guess. Like what motivates me to do better and be better is just like so I can look and be like, look how far I've come, I guess, is what really motivates me. And also because most of the stuff I do, I believe very much in, and I've been lucky, obviously, too. And I don't know, because this has just been my experience in academia, and now I'm entering the real world, quote unquote. So really, like, what motivates me most of the time is that I care about the things that I'm working on. Whether it's like designing a publication or like something like this, or just doing well in school. Like most of the time it's things I care about and things that I want to succeed in. And I value the work that I do. So I try to do it well because the things I'm working on matter to me. So most of the time it's just like that, and also valuing other people's time and caring about other people and the general thing that I'm working hard towards, if that makes sense, whether it's a cause or an actual project. I care about the things I do. I try very hard to spend my days in ways that matter to me, to the most that I can. What is your favorite thing about your career? I don't currently have a career, so nothing, because I am unemployed. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think the career I hope to go into is one of storytelling, whatever way that is, whether it's me designing publications that tell stories or whether it's me actually writing. I think I very much value narrative and storytelling, and it's why I went into college wanting to be an English major. I actually wrote like my college essay about like why I care about narrative and the importance of telling stories that maybe you don't experience actually in your real life. So then hearing about them and learning about them through a story helps you humanize issues and different kinds of people. So I don't have a career right now, but hopefully having one will be my favorite thing about having a career. All of these are about having a job. Okay. I don't have a job. Please hire me. I will send you my resume and samples of my work. What is your proudest accomplishment? I don't know, being alive. Like, I know that's, like, very boring and, like, not... Just, yeah, staying alive and the person that I am, I guess. Every day I try to be a better version of myself. And I'm very proud of who I am now and everything I've dealt with. And the fact that it made me more compassionate and has made me want to, like... I feel like a lot of what I've gone through could have made me bitter, but it didn't. It made me want things to be better for people who come after me, and I'm just proud of who I am, and the fact that I graduated college, that I'm alive, that I have a cat, that I'm just living my life every day trying to be the best version of myself, because that's all I can do. What is your favorite book to read? Great question. I was an English major. So I do love reading. Right now, the books I'm reading are 2 bachelor books, which is both humbling and a little embarrassing. I'm reading currently How to Win the Bachelor and by Game of Roses, best bachelor podcast in the world. My inspirations, my heroes. Yeah. So I'm reading How to Win the Bachelor, and I'm also reading Rachel Lindsay's book, I don't know if it's a memoir, but Rachel Lindsay's book missed me with that. So those are the 2 books I'm reading right now. The next book I will be reading is the sequel to, I've forgotten the name, something in Dante. I'm literally so embarrassed. Aristotle and Dante. That book, I'm reading the sequel. I got a signed copy on Black Friday, actually, so it's been like a while. But I will be reading that book as soon as I finish my 2 Bachelor books. I love reading memoirs. I love reading, like, personal fiction. What is that called? Creative nonfiction. So sorry. I love reading creative nonfiction, books like that, memoirs, anything like that. I love young adult fiction, big fan of that. I'm really open to reading most things. Yeah. My favorite book series ever, though, is the Percy Jackson series. I did my senior capstone in English at Kenyon on Percy Jackson, and I plan on getting a Percy Jackson tattoo as soon as I'm able to save up enough money. So Percy Jackson is my favorite book series of all time, but when it comes to what I like to read, really anything. I'm open to any and all book suggestions at all time. What makes you laugh the most? Myself. I don't know. I think I'm the funniest person I know, but just my favorite TV shows, my sister, just, I don't know, things. I feel like a lot of the times, like, things will happen and then I'll think something funny about it and then I laugh because of my own commentary. So mostly myself, but other people too, obviously. If you're funny in my life, you are funny. So, but I am the funniest person I know. And yeah. What was the last movie you went to? I haven't been to a movie in a while because of the pandemic. So I can't remember what the last movie I saw in theaters was. Oh, wait. I went to see In the Heights after I was vaccinated, but before Delta or anything. I went to see In the Heights. That was really fun. Yeah, I saw In the Heights in theaters. I really wanted to see West Side Story. But I was like not the time with everything happening. So I haven't seen that one yet, but when it comes out on streaming, I will watch West Side Story. What did you want to be when you were small? I don't even remember. Quite literally don't remember. What does your child want to be when she grows up? My child is a cat, so probably a cat. Yeah. If you could choose to do anything for a day, what would it be? I honestly would just love to, like, be a fly on the wall of, like a movie, or like, I don't know. I kind of would just love to not do something, but just observe something. And then I would love to be on a season of The Bachelor, but not actually be on the season of The Bachelor, but not be a producer. I would just love to watch it happening. Maybe I'll be a camera person. I don't know how to work a camera, but maybe I'll learn, because I would love to just observe everything that's happening and what goes into making a season of The Bachelor without actually having to be on The Bachelor, because that scares me. But yeah. Have you ever had a nickname? Emi is a nickname, actually. My full name is Emiliana. I won't tell you my middle name just because I feel like I shouldn't say that. Or is it like your mother's maiden name? What is it that you're not supposed to share with people? I share too much. I feel like I have two-step authentication on everything, because I'm just convinced that I'm going to get hacked, because I am very predictable. Not that I'm like important and I'm going to get hacked. Although a lot of people I know have recently gotten hacked on Instagram, and like things show up about crypto and they're like, they message you and they're like, what's your phone number? And I'm like, you're posting about crypto. I know that this is not the person that I follow from Kenyon College. What would you do if you won the lottery? I donate a lot of it. Then I'd put like some into savings. I would fund a move, because I live with my parents right now and I'm looking to move. I would like rent myself a nice little apartment. somewhere in California, ideally Los Angeles, and I would move. And then I'd probably save the rest, donate a good amount. Yeah, I'd just save a lot of it. And yeah, I'd just save a lot of it and use it to like start things that would eventually just like make me more money, so then I could donate more money. What's your favorite zoo animal? None. Free the zoo animals. I'm kidding. I don't know enough about zoos to have a political opinion on it. So don't hate me if you're pro-zoo, if you're anti-zoo. Inform me if you want, but I just genuinely don't know enough about zoos. I know that there are some that are like good and some that are bad. I don't know enough about zoos. My dad was a zoology major. Maybe I should ask him about zoos. I truly don't know enough about zoos. Like, I don't know. What is it with, like, I haven't been to a zoo in a while. If you could go back in time, what year would you travel to? None. I've seen movies where they travel back in time. It always messes with the time continuum. I'm not trying to accidentally have somebody not be born because I went back in time to, like, tell somebody I liked them when I did it. Like, I'm not traveling back in time. I'm not. Maybe I'll try, like, I would just go forward and see if I was doing okay. But I would try not to say anything. Honestly, I probably just wouldn't travel back in time. I don't think we should mess with time. Like, people are like, oh, technology, like, robots are going to take over. Like, that's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about time travel. Like, I just, no thank you. What's the longest you've gone without sleep? Well, I have, like, insomnia, so I don't really know. Like, there have been moments. I feel like I haven't, like, I think I've maybe gone, like, a day without sleep. I don't know if I've ever gone, like, without even, like, at least, like, a half hour of sleep. But there have been months or, like, weeks where I would just kind of sleep, like, a couple hours every night. And that's not very good for you. But I don't think I've ever, like, not even slept, like, a little bit at night. A lot of the times I'll, like, toss and turn and it feels like I didn't sleep anything. But then I wake up and I'm like, okay, I slept, like, 2 hours. So, I don't know. Anyways, these questions are weird. I'm on signupgenius.com/groups/getting-to-know-you questions. Is this, like, for work, like, bonding experiences? Because it's weird to me. These questions are strange. I don't know why I picked this. I kind of just, maybe I need prompts to talk about. I don't know. Next week is, like, Valentine's Day, so I'm probably going to talk about, like, my opinions on relationships and stuff. Yeah. So that is what I will be talking about in the next episode. So if this episode bores you, but you want to know about my dating history or my opinions on relationships, I don't have much of a dating history, but I do have opinions on, like, relationships and love and all of that, because I'm in DBT group therapy. I've done the interpersonal relationship module. I know things. Maybe not about romantic relationships, but I have plenty of experience with. Anyways, who cares? You do if you're watching next week. Please tune in. Anyways, my dress has little hearts on it if you're watching the video on my YouTube channel. If you're not, then go watch the video on my YouTube channel to see my outfit. This shirt is a Teddy Fresh shirt. It has a little bear and it's a little Teddy Fresh. And then this is a Lisa Says Ga dress that my sister got me for graduating college. So that's my outfit today. Yeah. What's your favorite movie? Ooh, so many. Okay. So it depends what kind of movie. My favorite journalism movie, because yes, that's a whole genre and I have opinions about those. And honestly, one of my favorite movies of all time is Shattered Glass. It's about my icon, my king, Stephen Glass. It's the best journalism movie of all time because most journalism movies, unfortunately, are about very serious, like, topics. And, like, they're, like, Spotlight, love that movie. But it's about, like, the Catholic Church and, like, child abuse. So it's very, very dark. And I do love that movie, but it's, like, it's very heavy. Shattered Glass is just about a guy who lied. It's fascinating. It's just about, like, fake news before fake news existed. Fascinating story. It's acted phenomenally. It's funny, but, like, interesting. Based off a true story. Like, just 10 out of 10. Could not recommend that movie enough. Love Shattered Glass. My another favorite movie for me would be The Parent Trap, because I'm a twin. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but probably if you're watching this, you know me, because who's going to watch this if you don't know who I am? Probably nobody. But yeah, so I'm a twin. I love The Parent Trap. Classic twin movie. They're Libras. If you care about that, they're Libras. October 11th. So they're Libras. Anyways, so love that movie. Classic. Know it very, very well. And then High School Musical is a classic. I love the High School Musical series. Once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. So many movies. I also just love the movie Liberal Arts because I went to Kenyon College, so I feel like you have to. I mean, a lot of people who went to Kenyon don't like the movie Liberal Arts, but I do. Josh Radnor, if you're listening or watching, please hit me up. I love the movie Liberal Arts. How I Met Your Mother, questionable humor, but you didn't write it. We can forgive that. Please reach out. I would like to have a conversation about the movie Liberal Arts. I have many thoughts. Anyways. See, what makes you laugh the most? Me. I'm the funniest person I know. You probably are not thinking this. If you're watching this, you're like, she is the worst. And that's okay, too. I think I'm at a point in my life where I don't care if people hate me. Unless you're certain people, then please love me. What's your favorite family tradition? I feel like my favorite family traditions are, like, related to being Venezuelan. Like, I love, like, the food we eat and stuff like that. Arepas, we eat hallacas for Christmas. Like, those are just my favorite family traditions. I don't feel like my family has a ton of, like, traditions outside of things like that. But maybe we do. What is your favorite childhood memory? I have a really good memory of watching Tangled in theaters before it came out. That was the highlight of my time living in Brazil. I got to see Tangled before it came out in theaters because the private school I went to, our principal knew somebody at Disney or something, so we went on a field trip and we were watching a movie, but they wouldn't tell us what it was, and then we got there and it was like a big thing and you could win prizes. I didn't win anything, but it was a great time. I literally, like, loved Tangled. I still think it's one of the best movies ever, one of the best Disney movies, and I have, like, a notebook that says Tangled in Portuguese that I got from that whole thing. It was a great time. Love that movie. And, like, when it was over, everybody clapped. Like, there were people, like, in front that I guess either were the animators or, like, I don't know. It was very fun. I don't know if we were, like, a test group because we were, like, 12 and they were like, are they gonna like this movie? It was a great time though. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Not that you can do that, but it was a great movie and one of my favorite childhood memories. I'm not answering this. It's just, how old were you when when you found out Santa was real? I don't know what you're talking about. Santa is real. If you're listening to this, Santa is real, okay? I'm not going to be the person to tell you that. Santa is very much real. Thank you for tuning in. And especially if you think Santa is real, like, ask your parents why you're watching this, because you shouldn't be, okay? Go ask your parents about Santa. I'm not here to tell you whether Santa's real or not. What was your favorite subject in school? English. I ended up being an English major. Yeah, English. Still think it's one of the best subjects ever because, again, I really value narrative and storytelling, and I think close reading is a very valuable skill. Writing is a very valuable skill because if you're a good writer, you're a good communicator, and communication is literally the foundation of, like, 90% of, like, life. Whether it's work relationships, like romantic relationships, your parents, like, talking and being able to communicate the way you're feeling and the way things made you feel. Literally the most valuable skill you'll ever have, in my opinion. Maybe not ever have, like being alive is really important too, like feeding yourself and, like, drinking water. That's important too. But talking to people and, like, maintaining, very important to living a successful and fulfilling life. So, English, big fan of English. Yeah. I know I said earlier that I'm not good at picking favorites, not when it comes to school. English was my favorite subject. My English teachers were my favorite teachers. Yeah. Do you collect anything? I don't, but when I was younger, I collected dolls. I know, you're probably watching this and you're like, what in the Pretty Little Liars? which I do love Pretty Little Liars. But I don't know. My brother had a like figurine turtle collection. Everywhere we went, he would get some kind of turtle. My sister had like animals. Like she would collect animals from like, I traveled a lot when I was younger. So like if we'd go to Alaska, she'd get a turtle. And I was like, I can't copy either of them. So I was like, I'll do a doll. Like when we go to Alaska, I'll get like a traditional Alaskan doll, like things like that. So I did. I had a doll collection. I have no idea where it went. Because my parents moved at some point, so a lot of my stuff was in storage. So I have no idea where my doll collection went, but I had some really cool ones. I had one from Alaska. I had quite a few from Latin America when I lived in Brazil and stuff. And it was honestly became less about like places I went and just if I saw a cool doll, I would get the doll. So I did have a doll collection. Not the creepy dolls like in Pretty Little Liars, although I am a big fan of Pretty Little Liars. Check out Mike's Mike if you haven't already, but if you're watching this, you probably already have because I cannot compare to him. I will probably at some point do an episode where I talk about my hot takes related to different television shows. I have so many opinions on Gilmore Girls, Pretty Little Liars, truly everything. The Bachelor, I have so many opinions on media. Yeah, so I'll probably at some point talk about that. But I did collect dolls. Kind of creepy in retrospect. Is your glass half full or half empty? What kind of a question is this? signupgenius.com. I would say half full. I don't know. I try not to be like, my glass is half empty. I think that there are days when I'm like, I don't even have a glass. There's no water in the glass. It's vinegar. Like I take water and it's poison. Like that's sometimes how I feel about my metaphorical glass. Is like not even that it's half empty or half full, just that there's poison in there. But I don't feel that way right now. I think I'm trying to just be grateful to have a glass and have even a tiny little bit of water or like anything, you know. So yeah, right now it's half full. I don't know. I think I might not always be positive about things, but I can always be like, I'll get through it. Even if I'm like, this sucks right now, like, I feel that, and I'm like, okay, this sucks, and I, like, let myself be upset. But then I'm like, I'll get through this. Like, I try not to let things be the end of the world for me, because things have ended for me many times. There's a quote where it's like, the world has ended many times and then the sun rises or something. That's how I feel a lot about life. I'm like, I have had worse days than this. And I've survived 100% of my worst days. If there are like actual horrible, well, not whatever. If there are like a lot of the horrible things in my life that I've dealt with, if I have overcame them and I've like dealt with them and I'm like stronger now and I can talk about them without wanting to cry, like, I can get through a day where I'm like a little sad. Like I can do it. Do I feel that way in the moment? Not necessarily, but then when I calm down, you know. Anyways, like, you know, you like have a fender bender and you're like, I'm literally going to die. Like this is the worst moment of my life. They should take away my license. The cops are going to arrest me. Maybe that's just me. I also have a very deep fear of the police. So yeah. What's the most unusual thing you've ever eaten? I don't think I've eaten anything that unusual. I can't think of anything that I've eaten that is really that unusual. I don't know. I've been a vegetarian for a while, so I feel like that's kind of gotten me out of eating a lot of unusual things because I'm like, oh, I don't eat meat, so I don't know. I don't eat that many unusual things. It'll also stop me from ever becoming a cannibal because I'll never accidentally eat human flesh because I don't eat meat. So think about that next time you eat a hamburger. Or actually don't. But I used to be really into the show Bones. And there was an episode where they were, like, it was a cafeteria. And it was, like, some kind of, like, beef stew. And then, like, an eyeball was in it because they, like, chopped up a body and, like, fed it to all these children. And I literally was like, that wasn't the reason I became a vegetarian. But it solidified to me that I was never going to eat meat again. Because I was like, this will never happen to me. I wouldn't have had the beef stew. I wouldn't have accidentally eaten an eyeball. So, yeah. Cannibalism is one of my biggest fears. I don't even know how I've devolved into talking about cannibalism. But anyways, I am a vegetarian. Is there anything you wished would come back into fashion? I don't know anything about fashion, so not really. I kind of hope that high-waisted jeans stay in fashion all the time because I love high-waisted jeans. Also, if Doc Martens ever go out of style, I will not stop wearing them. So, yeah. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? I'm an introvert, actually, weirdly enough. I love talking. I love being around people, but I need time to myself to recharge. So, definitely an introvert, but I'm very social and I love being around people. I think there's a misconception about introverts that they just like are antisocial. Like, people just don't understand that you just need time to yourself to recharge. Like, being around people sometimes exhausts you. And it does. I think for me, something is like being around people like consistently for a long time really does exhaust me. But then when like something happens and I'm like inside my house a lot and then I see people again, like that does energize me. But that's because of a change in pace, and also because a lot of the times if I keep to myself, it's like avoidance, and it's like, you know, just feeding into like the depression cycle. Anyways, that's a whole other topic. But yeah. Which of the 5 senses would you say is your strongest? I have no idea. Like, I don't know. I need glasses, so probably not my eyes. And I don't really think my ears either, because I remember when I was younger, I went to get my ears checked, and they were like, she's fine for now, but like, they told me that I have like I'll probably start losing my hearing before other people do, because like one of the really high intervals that people my age hear, I didn't for some reason. And my parents do always tell me that I scream. So I don't know what strong, I feel like my sense of smell is like fine. My sense of taste is like fine. Probably touch. I don't know. I've never thought about this. These questions are really making me think. Have you ever had a surprise party? No. Although I have ruined a surprise party. That was like a not a good time in my life. I was living in Brazil, and living in Brazil was not the time in my life. It just wasn't. It was not great. Living in Brazil was hard for me. And one of my closest friends, they were throwing her a surprise party, and like they told me, and I was like, I didn't like tell her. She was just like, something's up. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then she just like was like, are they throwing me a surprise party? And I'm just like, I don't have a good poker face. So I was just like, I didn't say anything, but you could tell on my face. She was like, they're throwing me a surprise party. And then it got around that I spoiled the surprise. And everybody was like, fuck Emi. She can't keep a secret. She ruined the surprise party. But honestly, I have to say, like, 5 girls that year threw surprise parties. Like, at that point, it wasn't a surprise. Like, if your birthday was coming up and nobody had anything planned, like Fulanita de tal just had a surprise party. Like, you're gonna have a surprise party too. Like, 1 + 1 = 2. Like, if everybody's having a surprise party, you're gonna have like, it was just, after a while, it became boring. Although this girl's was the first one, I think, from my recollection. But it was horrible. It was horrible. Everybody was like, Emi ruined the surprise. And I'm like, sorry that I'm not a good liar. Sorry that I'm honest and, like, trustworthy and genuine. And that's going to come in handy sometimes. And you guys are, like, developing a skill of lying at 12 years old that's going to get you in body bags, like Pretty Little Liars. I never dealt with anything like Pretty Little Liars. Why? Because I'm not a liar. And I'm not that pretty. So, yeah. No, I've never had a surprise party. I did ruin a surprise party once. Oh wait, actually, I did have a surprise party. This honestly was not the best experience either. I was told that we were just gonna hang out with family friends, me and my sister, and that one of my friends knocked on the door, and she was like, "Hi," and I don't know if she just didn't get the memo that it was a surprise party or something, because I was like so confused. I was like, "Hi, what are you doing here?" Anyways, I was just bummed that I was like not having the best time with my friends. So I was just kind of bummed I didn't get to spend it with my family friends, if I'm being honest. And then I got a new shirt that day for my birthday, that morning, and I wore it to the party, and I stained it that night, and it was like heartbreaking. I think it was my 15th birthday. No. It's my 15th, no. Was it my 13th birthday? No idea what birthday it was, now that I'm remembering. Although I don't think it was my 15th, because I think my 15th I went to a dairy farm to see the baby cows, which vegans don't come for me. I was 15, okay? My sister is vegan now. I really like the vegans. I try not to eat. Please don't come for me. I can only deal with so much. Yeah. Anyways. Are you related or distantly related to anyone famous? Yes, I'm talking about this. So if you've picked up on from everything I've talked about, I'm a big Bachelor fan. Like, huge Bachelor fan. The Bachelor is my niche. I know so much about The Bachelor, big fan of The Bachelor. I am distantly related to Juan Pablo Garavis. He was, I don't know what number Bachelor. He was the first Latino Bachelor. Yes, he's very white, but he was the first Latino Bachelor. I'm related to him distantly on my mother's side. I've never met him in person. Doesn't stop me from claiming the fact that he is my cousin. I'm waiting for the cease and desist. Hi, Juan Pablo. Peace and love, peace and love. So yes, I'm related distantly to Juan Pablo from The Bachelor, who notorious for not being a very, like, people didn't really like him. Anyways. Juan Pablo, if you're watching this, come on the podcast. We have, like, no subscribers probably, but we can get them with your help. Wouldn't that be groundbreaking? Your first interview back in, like, years, and it's with your distant cousin you've never even met in person. That would just be so beautiful. Anyways, please hit me up. There's a question. What do you do to keep fit? Stupid question. Anyways, what celebrity would you most like to meet at Starbucks for a cup of coffee? Taylor Swift. I mean, like, I think meeting her at Starbucks for a cup of coffee wouldn't be that great because it's like, then we would be swarmed and it'd be a whole thing. And, like, who wants to be swarmed? Not me. But I think in general, I want to meet Taylor Swift a lot. Maybe I'll film a whole episode about my journey as a Swiftie. Unironically. Who was your first crush? Don't even remember. I was like, what? Like, I don't remember. Probably some girl that I internalized. I do remember in elementary school, everybody was like, would be like, oh my God, I have a crush on blah, blah. And I didn't have crushes on any of the guys because I was like, gross. And so I just picked the guy who I thought was the most conventionally attractive, and I was like, him. I didn't like him at all. I don't even remember his name. Anyways. What's the most interesting thing you can see out of your office or kitchen window? Nothing. I live in Maryland. Like, right, like, there are woods, like, right next to my house. Nothing. On a scale of 1 to 10, how funny are you? 10. I am a perfect 10 when it comes to being funny. Everything else, like, questionable, but I'm hilarious. I'm a 10, 11, 15, 13, because I'm a Swiftie. What was your first job? Well, I don't know. Like, first job I got paid at was probably, I was a photographer for the Office of Communications at my college. I think that was the first, like, paid job I had. You have to understand, I got my green card when I was 17, so the visa I had before, I couldn't work. So, like, people had jobs at, like during high school, like, over the summer. Like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't work anywhere. So, I couldn't really work until I was in college, really. So I think that was my first paid job. And then my first job not in college, because I had a couple jobs, like, at my college as a student worker. Recognized case walk. Anyways, so I had a few jobs as a student worker, but my first job outside of Kenyan was, I worked at a photo studio over the summer, 2019. Weird time, but yeah, I guess my first 2 jobs were photography. Kind of fun, kind of strange. And I worked on a lot of student publications, but most of that was unpaid work. Anyways, if you could join any past or current music group, which would you join? None. I can't sing. They wouldn't want me. None. Like, truly none. Isn't this so fun? Aren't you guys having a great time? Honestly, I am. I think for the first 10 minutes, I was really, like, having a weird time. And, like, now I've kind of calmed down. I have no idea how I'm going to piece the audio together because it cut out, like, a few times. But I'll figure it out. It's a tomorrow Emmy's problem. It's like 11 p.m. and I'm going to record for a little bit and then go to bed and figure everything out tomorrow. I still need to make a cover for the podcast. I'm, like, a graphic designer. And so, like, everything else, I'm like, if the audio sucks, who cares? If I look ugly, who cares? The cover needs to be, like, immaculate. And I can't. Everything I start making, I'm like, it's ugly, and I throw it out. So this podcast comes out next week, like, it'll be because I couldn't come up with a cover. Or maybe I'll just release a shitty cover and then, like, fix it later. Anyways, what is one thing you will never do again? I mean, ideally, say something, like, talk about myself negatively. I'm trying to, like, you know, loving myself only in 2022. Or even if I don't love everything I do, just treating myself with love and compassion and grace the same that I would for, like, a friend, I think is what I'm trying to do. So yeah, just being nicer to myself. I think, although it's very, like, immediate and, like, internal and, like, learned, I think sometimes constantly being like, I hate myself, I'm ugly, it can get very exhausting for myself even, but especially for people around me, when people keep trying to be like, you're wonderful, and you just are so down on yourself. And I know that people, like, they don't get exhausted, like, necessarily, like, out of, like, oh, you're so annoying, but it's like, it hurts people around you. And so I think, like, there are still things that I'm going to struggle with within myself, but I think outwardly I'm going to try to only talk about myself positively as much as I can, because I just think it's better that way. And I think something that I saw somebody say at some point, and I can't remember when or who, was like, when you insult certain things about yourself, like, other people who, like, feel like they resonate with those parts of you will start to think that those parts of them are ugly or bad. And so I want to not do that. I want to not, like, crap on myself for, like, struggling with mental illness. I want to not, like, say certain features of me are ugly, because, like, I don't think it's good for, like, the general world. And I feel like sometimes I do very much, like, on my Twitter, and, like, right now I'm like, I'm funny, I'm the funniest person ever, and, like, I mean those things, but I feel like sometimes I worry that I sound self-centered, and then I'm like, I feel like if you actually know me, you know that, like, deeply I hate myself. But I'm trying to not hate myself outwardly, because I think, honestly, the more you do start saying nice things about yourself, the more you believe them. And I think I just say a lot of negative things. I've said a lot of negative things about myself for a very long time, and I think I'm trying to move into my, like, Emi loving herself era. Anyways, you had to describe yourself as an animal, which one would it be? None. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what animal I would be. My initial thought is a monkey, but I just had people call me that all when I was younger, and I think maybe that was, like, slightly racist. But I don't know. Did anybody else get called monkeys? Was that just me? Like, I don't know. I had, like, hair on my arms, like, when I was younger, and still, like, I have body hair because I'm, like, Hispanic. And people called me a monkey. Anyways. So, I don't know. A monkey, probably? I don't really know. Who's the most intelligent person you know? Myself. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I feel like I've met so many smart people at Kenyon, like professors, but also, like, my fellow students. I can think of so many people who I crossed paths with at Kenyon who were just, like, blew me away with how smart they were. And not in the, like, they use big words during, like, discussions of books smart, but, like, they really care about it. They're really driven. They're really, like, they've thought about these things. Like, that kind of intelligence. So, yeah, I think a lot of people I met at Kenyon, but I don't know if it's, like, right to name people I went to college with. But so many of my classmates from Kenyon were just, like, the smartest people I know. How many languages do you speak? This one's fun. I speak Spanish. I speak English. I know a little bit of Portuguese. I understand it better than I can speak it. I lived in Brazil when I was 9, 10, and I turned 11 right before I moved back to the United States. And I knew Portuguese fairly well when I was 11, and then I just lost it because I wasn't speaking it. So I understand it, could not speak it, like, in a sentence. I took a little bit of French in high school. It took 4 years of French, but 2 in middle school, 2 in high school, or 1 in middle school, 3 in high school. Yeah, 1 in middle school, 3 in high school. And because I was going to take AP French, but the teacher I had, she left, like, my high school, and the new AP French teacher had never taught AP French, and I was like, I don't really want to take AP French with somebody who's never taught it. and I already completed my, like, I was like, I'm out of here. So I didn't take AP French, but I took French. I started learning sign language over the summer of 2021, just online with virtual lessons. I know it fairly well. I've been trying to review the vocabulary now that I have time, a lot of time, like downtime, but I've forgotten a lot of it. But yeah, I would like to eventually know a little bit more of American Sign Language. Yeah, let me see what, that's it. Portuguese, French, Spanish, English, learning sign language. I don't know. I really like languages. I would love to learn French more. I took an Italian class when I was younger because I do have an Italian passport. My great-grandfather was Italian. And so my dad had it and then I have it too. So I took an Italian class when I was younger, but that was like, I was a little menace in that class. That's a whole other story. I like literally was a good student, like all the time, like truly all the time. Like, but this Italian class, like I didn't want to do it. It was after school. So I was like, why? And I hated the people in the class. And I literally, like, I was a menace in that class. Like I was a menace. We had like multiple teachers because they quit. Because I was like in my Alison De Laurentiis menace to society phase, apparently. So not my shining moment as a young child. But, yeah. So I was the absolute worst in that class, like truly abysmal. But anyways, let me see. What else? That's it. Those are all the languages I speak. Who knows you best? My twin sister. I'm a twin, if you didn't know. I mentioned it earlier, I believe. But yeah, I'm a twin. I'm also a Gemini, which means I'm extremely powerful. I was also born on the summer solstice, which is the last day of Gemini and the first day of Cancer. So in case you like didn't realize how powerful I am from this like 50-minute clip of like video recording of me talking or whatever, like I'm God. Not really, but like God wishes. I'm just kidding. Please don't smite me. And if you're like religious, please like just again, don't hate me. I grew up Catholic, okay? I was baptized, like all of that. Like Jesus like loves me, okay? I'm Hannah Brown. Jesus still loves me. I'm not Hannah Brown. Although that scene was iconic, but I'm not Hannah Brown. No hate to Hannah Brown. No hate to I'm trying not to make a statement. I don't want anybody to hate me off of this one episode. I know I said like 10 minutes ago that I don't care if people hate me, but I would like people to give me a little bit of a chance. So I'm trying not to make a political... Actually, I don't really care. Although when it comes to Bachelor Nation, I do have very mixed thoughts about like Hannah Brown and like white contestants who just like get excused for like racist behavior. Anyways, that's a whole other conversation. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Please don't hate me. And if you're Hannah Brown listening to this, I loved your season. Like, you were iconic. Like, that season, iconic. I don't know. Okay, let me see. What do I want to talk about that I haven't spoken about personally to wrap this up? Because we're coming up on an hour, and I think I want to keep these to an hour, at least this one, because I don't have a topic. I was just trying to introduce myself, have you guys get like an idea of the way I work, the way I think. I guess I'll talk a little bit about why I decided to start a podcast. I graduated from college. I'm kind of in a weird place where I'm trying to figure things out, and I tried YouTube out for a little bit, but I didn't love it. I feel like this would work out better for me, so I went out, I got myself a microphone. I'm trying to figure it out. If the audio doesn't totally match the video, I'm like really figuring it out. I did tests. I have like genuinely put effort and thought into this, but I'm also trying to just be off the cuff and like speak and communicate. And I will have more structured episodes about certain topics, based off of the way things are going, or like just, I'll probably do little check-ins at the beginning of every episode about like what's going on in my life, if anything, but I will have structured episodes that have to deal with specific topics or stories in my life. Or I'll like pick a theme and then I'll tell many stories about that theme. I do want this to be structured and interesting to watch. I'm also calling this the Emmy Awards. So at the end of every episode, I will give an award. I will award somebody something. This week's Emmy Award goes to lamest first episode of a podcast, the Emmy Awards. I know, groundbreaking. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying my best. And I will actually have like awards for like pop culture things, or like I will genuinely have things. If you have ideas for awards for me to give out, or topics or anything that you were interested in seeing from me, if you're like, I mean, you have lots of opinions on this, please talk about it. Let me know. Especially my friends who are like, you're great when you talk about this. Please let me know. I'm very, very open to anything. But yeah, I'm doing my best. And I know you probably are too. If you took the time to watch this, especially if you got all the way to the end where I'm saying this, I really do appreciate it. This is kind of a passion project for me. I'm trying to pour all of my like energy into something creative and something I care about. And I do care about this. And I do also think I have interesting stories to tell and interesting perspectives. And maybe that wasn't totally conveyed in this episode of me answering silly questions off of a YouTube search, but hopefully you'll like keep watching. And even if you didn't get to the end, I hope you tune in to other episodes about more serious things and more specific things and sillier things. And I have a lot to talk about, and I have a lot of stories to tell about my life and my perspective on things. And I will keep making these. I really enjoyed it. I was kind of awkward at first, and my audio cut out, and so did my video. And it's going to be a little bit choppy at the beginning, at least for this episode. But I'm doing my best, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you'll give me a chance. I hope you'll keep watching. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, if you did. And yeah, have a great week. I'll see you next week for a Valentine's Day episode.